And we are on. Hi, I'm Eric. I am your host, and this is our very first Test Nations podcast. And welcome.
Woo!
Yes. Excited. Very, very excited. Thanks for joining it, Jay.
Always a pleasure.
Yes. Jay, I need you to give a quick spill of yourself because the audience will be very pleased to know you.
Well, I am Jay, and I'm third year at UCLA. I'm studying...
UCLA is very hard to get in, hey?
Oh, it's pretty hard. This year was around 5%, I heard, the admission rate. Not counting transfers, of course, but yeah, it's one of the schools up there. And I study creative writing there, and I also teach SAT, ACT, help with essays for college admission, and I'm basically an assistant to you.
Oh, okay.
Which makes you?
Me, which makes me the host of this show again. And, well, you know, I think this is a great opportunity for us to share our opinions. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who can who can receive some merits from listening to our podcast. And this is definitely going to also motivate us because, not only we can reach out to the people who we have never met, but really are trying hard to get into good college or even trying something, right? To receive that secondary education, but also for those who have a different sort of or I guess in kind of indulgent, right? They're not getting to a place where they want to be, right?
Especially in these trying times, as everyone puts it.
True. So for our first episode, we are going to talk about this very controversial, hot topic that everyone's talking about these days, which is UC dropping SAT, ACT scores. So what does it mean to you? What does it mean? There's two-part question. One, what does it mean to you if UC drops SAT, ACT? I'm not sure if you really care that much, but what does it mean to you? Also, because you are also helping students, right?
Right.
And B, do you really believe this is going to happen?
I think it's going to be different, definitely. Obviously, this year, I feel like, personally, that they will look at students differently. Especially as this year is the start, or was the beginning of the pandemic. And while it's still going on, this year really affected a lot of households, and not a lot of people knew how to deal with it very abruptly. So I feel like they're going to be a little lax this year, and they're testing the waters for whether standardized testing is truly a key factor into college admission. But for the long term, I'm a little doubtful because, I just don't know whether it will work, whether it will cause so many problems for admission officers. But I believe admission officers far better than I do.
Yeah.
So I'm more interested in your take on this.
Definitely. Well, I did talk to some admission officers and had a thorough conversation on this topic. There's one I can name. I'm not sure if I can actually name her, but yeah. But yeah, anyways, they were very hesitant to talk about whether or not they believe that this is going to happen. Because like you said, standardized test has been around more than 30, 40, 50 years, right? So it's been proven, sort of like, and it's hard to prove something for a long time, right? When it becomes a routine or a tradition,
right,
it's hard to change. So for them, there's a lot of talk and there's a lot of talk about SAT, ACT, and the fact that it's it's one of the most dominant thing that people take, or people think that it's the most dominant sort of metric that really makes students, right, suffer for their admission process.
100%.
Yeah, because they have to sometimes study for it for like 4 years, 3 years, right, and invest so much money.
Kids start really young these days.
Yeah, like
Middle-
even
I
like
see
grade
middle
grade
schoolers.
6, grade 7, right? So, but the thing is, you have to hold your breath because you can't be super excited about this sort of concept. So I think the first question is, should you take SAT or ACT at this very after this pandemic, after announcing, especially like UC and other schools announcing the possible dropping of SAT, ACT. I say possible because it's still optional, right?
Definitely.
I think my answer is yes. You should still take the SAT, ACT. Because there's always a caveat. You have to always understand. There's always a caveat to something, right?
As
Anything
in
you do.
like the optional part, right?
Yes.